Picture the epicenter of 1980s Chicago underground club culture. The air is thick. The speakers drive the relentless, mechanized pulse of early house music. Then, an anomaly cuts through the mix. Instead of a traditional pop vocal, you hear a stark, authoritative British woman reciting poetry about concrete and urban decay. She had no classical musical training and deliberately refused to sing, making her a total outlier in an era dominated by synth-pop stars. Her name is Anne Clark. To trace the development of Darkwave, or the evolution of early techno, you have to look at the work of this South London poet. Clark's specific collision of poetry and machines provided a structural prototype for the dark, high-energy tracks that soon defined club music across 2 continents. To understand that sound, you have to start in late 1970s Croydon, a distinctly working-class, outer suburban slice of London. She left school early to work as a care assistant in a psychiatric hospital, and later at a local independent shop called Bonaparte Records. Day to day, she was surrounded by both society's marginalized voices and underground music distribution. Right around this time, the punk explosion hit the UK. It proved you didn't need years of conservatory training to express daily life. Taking that ethos to heart, she began organizing gigs at the local warehouse theater. Almost overnight, she was physically at the center of a hub of young musical innovators. Immersed in this DIY environment, Clark developed her core philosophy. Raw, socially conscious text didn't require a guitar riff. The spoken word was a valid instrument on its own. But when she took her own poetry to the stage, she skipped the standard punk guitars entirely, plugging directly into musical technology. Her backing tracks were built on the cold, mechanical pulses of analog synthesizers and drum machines. Teaming up with keyboardist and producer David Harrow, she released 2 seminal records in quick succession, Changing Places and Joined Up Writing. These albums engineered a specific sonic environment, an architecture of despair, fully realized in tracks like Sleeper in Metropolis and Our Darkness. The formula relied on 2 opposing forces. First, the human element, Clark delivering deeply vulnerable, existential poetry with total conviction. Second, the cold machine element, Harrow's production wrapping those deeply human words in heavy, hydraulic, and absolutely relentless electronic beats. This collision of text and technology functioned as a scathing critique of the domestic austerity and profound societal alienation of Thatcher-era Britain. The message traveled fast. Tracing it on a map, these tracks breached the UK's borders, impacting the new German wave and setting the template for Darkwave. The momentum then crossed the Atlantic, crashing into underground clubs of Chicago and Detroit. Her synthesis of existential dread and mechanized rhythm captured the heavy world weariness, the Weltschmerz, of the transition into the post-industrial age. That massive early success came with complications. In the years following, tensions emerged over the division of creative credit between the poet and her producers. This friction highlighted a structural reality of the era. Early electronic music production was a messy, highly collaborative, and often legally undefined space. But Clark refused to be trapped by the very techno and darkwave genres she helped pioneer. As her career progressed, she stripped away the drum machines and sequencers, choosing instead to work with acoustic instruments and minimalist jazz ensembles. She even dedicated entire projects to translating and adapting classical writers like Rainer Maria Rilke, proving that her primary tool was always the written and spoken word. It leaves us with a final irony. The most futuristic, mechanized musical movements of the 20th century were sparked by something entirely organic, a human voice daring to speak the truth about an alienated world.